Thank you very much, Lunar. So,
Yo, that reminded me of my favorite show, the iCarlys.
I,
I'm glad
it
nothing
came
bad's
to
ever
my,
come out about those
yeah,
shows.
exactly. I like that comes to my mind every single time Luna does the countdown, but I know that I already did the Freddie Benson bit like a few episodes back, and I'm like, I don't want to beat a dead horse. You can though.
I didn't remember it, so brought it back to life.
Yeah. It's just that's what it reminds me of every time. And it's like it comes to mind in a wholesome way, but there's very much that's not wholesome about that production. Read I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. So, welcome to the Thought Bubble.
I was gonna wait
I,
to see how long that
I
lasted.
I really wondered if I was like trying to like leverage it, like leapfrog it into you going, so anyway, and like saving the situation. Anyway, I'm Stevie.
Hello, I'm Ashley.
Yeah, and we just talk about whatever's on our mind here, and most of the time it rounds back around to technology. So just and something about
Apparently.
gaming, and her just schooling the fuck out of me and everything involved with gaming, both consumer and development side. So, so so Ashley, I mean, do you have any topics to start off first?
Well, the big one. So I started a comic book podcast. Episode 1 is out now. Apologies for the audio quality. My co-host had a hum the entire time that we didn't notice while recording.
So now
So
leave
that
this
was
episode. Listen to that instead.
do it. But no, the important thing to mention aside from go watch it, it's on my website, missusashley.gay. Um, you can just click on the art and it'll take you to the page.
Gay
But
spelled
tonight,
Gaei.
no.
It's not the
But
same way you're used to.
tonight we are doing our first interview, and let me make sure I'm actually going to say his name correctly. Um, if I can bring up the fucking tweet,
Kevin Sorbo.
where is it? Our Twitter is a mess of retweets right now. So yes, tonight we are talking to David Pepose, a comic book writer.
Woo!
He's written for books such as Punisher, Savage Avengers, Moon Knight, with um, his own books, Spencer and Locke, The Oz, things like that. Fucking amazing lineup is currently has written the new Space Ghost comics, which has been pitched as a mix of Batman with um with space superhero kind of vibes. So I am very interested to read that
Yeah.
and very interested to talk to him about it. But that is happening tonight. If you have any questions for somebody like that, go on to Twitter at CB Tour Guide. Um, tweeted us some of your questions and we'll ask them. It's happening in like 6 hours or something like that.
And I would gander if they don't feel like going over to Twitter, they can also use your Discord server and just like ping you in there with
Yeah,
the question. Yeah.
yeah. Send some letters.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it I forget what your Discord server is called. Is it the Ashley verse or something?
something like that. I don't
I
It
swear
remember
to
off
God,
the
is the
top of my
you
head.
put that
Ashleyverse.
on something. The Ashley verse.
Is the
Damn.
Ashleyverse?
But
So I
by the
mean,
way,
like,
do
Um,
you have a PO box where people can send physical letters to? Because that would
no,
be pretty
do
cool.
not send me letters. That would be
I
pretty
do
I'm
not
cool. It
gonna
enjoy
costs
send you
money
receiving
though.
letters.
anthrax.
It costs money. If you'll pay for my PO box, I'll put it up.
No, just send them directly to your mailbox.
To my street address.
Yes, which is
We are both we are both
somewhere.
queer and genderqueer. I'm not sure that I'm not sure that I'd want to open a public PO box that we'll be receiving physical things from. I have
Yeah,
a sneaking sniffing suspicion that there might there might be
might,
something I can't get out
might be
of my body.
bombs.
Yeah, yeah, some kind of gaseous substance. But yeah,
But yeah, the comic book podcast has been Steve's dead. Has been a blast to record so far. The first episode is about Barry Allen's Flash, his run because I didn't know much about him. I was more of a Wally West fan. So if if you also, like me, don't know much about Barry Allen and want to learn, go listen to the podcast. I was hoping Steve would be able to join before I finish that sentence. There we go.
It's coming from inside the house. Banter's the one sending it. No, no.
I can't believe Banter's censoring us.
Banter
I'm gonna
sent
sue.
me. I, I really, I was almost gonna finish that sentence, but I, re-
I can't
I
believe
don't know.
Banter VR put a pipe bomb in my mail.
I'm like, I don't know where the boundary is before we're legally liable for what we said. Shane Harris himself sent me a bottle full of the Black Plague right to my Canadian doorstep.
Yeah.
Oh
They
no.
got their hands on
Yeah.
anthrax and it's just never recovered.
Yeah, I asked him to send the copy of Monty Python's Holy Grail, but then it turned out to be just a screenshot from Monty Python, and as a reference to the Castle Anthrax, he just committed to the bit and put real anthrax in there. It was a whole thing. It was really cute.
It was really funny.
It was he did it for the bit. He did it for the vine for you old kiddos out there. Anyway, um, so now I'm curious of regarding that comic book cast that you're doing, of the different comic books that you've
Are you
heard of from
megaphoned?
this, am I not megaphoned? Okay, I just re-megaphone myself. I unmegaphoned and then
See, we're not
re-megaphone
liable
myself.
for anything said non-megaphoned. So
Well, I already it said I was already megaphone, but I then undid it and redid it just to make sure I rebooted it. But with the comic books that that guy has published, of the ones that you haven't read, which one are you most excited for?
I want to read Space Ghost
Space
because
Ghost?
I love, yeah, Space Ghost. Love that character. I mean, most people would probably know that character from Space Ghost Coast to Coast, that kind of like parody talk show. I don't even know when that show came out. Um,
It
but
was in
like
like the late
people who have
1900s.
you didn't need to say it like that. Uh, yeah, like 90s ish. I don't know specifically, but like seeing a serious take on the character and the people who have been able to talk about it, it seems like it's going to be really cool. I also do want to read um, his Punisher series because it was his books that introduced the new Punisher. I don't even remember the character's actual name, but like
Frank
Frank
Castle.
Castle is no more.
Oh, okay. I was because I keep wondering with characters like that when you say the new something, I because half the time it turns out that the one that I know is the new version, and half the time it turns out, oh, there's a new version after what you know that isn't just that one dude anymore. And so yeah, I'm relieved to know where I lie there. So who's the new guy that isn't Frank Castle?
I don't remember his name. He's very similar from what I understand of his story of like it wasn't like whoever killed it wasn't like gang members who killed Frank Castle or no this new guys. It was gang members who killed Frank Castle's family and sent him on the road to becoming the Punisher. Um I just want to say like this guy was like framed for the murder of his family and so his arc is like figuring out who did it to get revenge. And that's why
What
he's the Punisher now.
is he related to the Punisher, or is he just like another dude that just like, you know what, Frank Castle's gone, I'm gonna be the Punish now?
I think he's just a new dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not 100% sure. I haven't read the comics. I just know this guy got to write the new one, so that's definitely questions I'm going to be asking about, like the writing process of a new Punisher.
Remember, folks, anyone can wear the black T-shirt and guns.
Remember, anyone apparently can get an interview.
with the guy with the guy who wrote that. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I was
It's
telling you before. Yeah.
actually insane to me because,
Hmm.
like, literally today was episode one's launch. So when he agreed to be on the podcast, there were no episodes.
I God, I love so much when you like would assume somebody's hard to get, but it's just like, hey, all you got to do is ask, like, because there's just a whole bunch of people who never end up asking, and so their schedule's like freer than you think it is, you know, because
Yeah, and
everyone
I
just
imagine
assumes
it's
they're next
also
to the thing.
like his new Space Ghost books are coming out, so like any kind of publicity at all.
That too, yeah. And so, yeah, read Space Ghost and read the new Punisher. Yeah. Um, I mean, have there been any other comics you've been reading lately that you've picked up outside of that?
Well, no, I mean the premise of the podcast is that I don't read comics very often,
Right.
and so I need to learn about them in a way that doesn't include me reading them because clearly that ship has sailed. Um,
What media do
I
you
think
consume very often? Because, like, I think we've narrowed down quite a few things that you don't do very often in terms of media consumption.
I mean I play
Movies.
games a lot. I like
Oh,
games.
that's right. Okay, so in terms of something
Games are
you don't
good.
actively play, like so I guess if you don't actively play it, then you're not as interested, right?
I mean I like YouTubes.
Mm-hmm.
YouTubes are
But
good.
you strike me as the kind of person who's going to play something at the same time and only half concentrate on it. Am I right?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, like
Awesome.
the what I play in the background when I'm doing a game. One, it depends on the game. Some games I'm not listening to anything else. Most games I'm not listening to anything else. I did like some of the missions in House Flipper to get more money for our next stream of that. I put on Gordon Ramsay in the background while I was just mindlessly doing the missions. But that's about it.
I remember like a few days later than we did the first stream of that, you said, "Oh yeah, I did like a few more, miscellaneous side missions, and yeah, you know that money issue that we had, that is no more." And so I'm
Yeah.
assuming by now you just have fucking Bezos money, yeah,
I
in
mean, I have
House
not played a
Flipper.
lot since then
Oh, okay, I
because
see.
I really want to finish that house. So I know it's like if I open up the game again, I'm finishing the house. So I want to stream that.
Okay, yeah. I enjoyed when we streamed that. I'm not as queer as I am. I'm not much of an interior decorator, and so it was nice having a say in something that actually looks half decent when
Yeah,
you
we'll have
look
to
at it.
do it
Except
on my next day off. I think that's going to be Tuesday, though. I work so fucking much this next coming week. It's like Tuesday or
The
literally next
bathroom was
Wednesday.
the best room in the house, by the way.
the
It
bathroom is my
is.
favorite part, and only
It's very
because it's the
aesthetic.
only room like that. I wanted just one room to be deplorable, and the rest of
If
it
you
to
want
be
to go
pretty
watch those
okay.
streams, go onto the
Yeah.
website, missusashley.gay. Link to the Twitch there. It's a VOD. Um,
Yeah, and it's very relaxing, most of it.
it's
I
very good. Apparently, one of my friends who was watching because they were like doing night shift, um, they like kept almost falling asleep during the stream. We're just at
which
work.
would be an insult if that was if we weren't trying to relax people. I really like when
Yeah, it was a cozy
because
stream.
yeah, I've like when I've like read to buddies before, they're like, I don't mean this in a bad way, but like I mean I fell asleep in the middle of it, but it's just just I wanted you to know I don't mean that in the way that it sounds. I'm like, oh no, that's great. Yeah, yeah. Though I don't know how you could sleep through the fucking incredible amounts of wheezing I did when I just thought of, oh, the idea of putting a single Lego piece inside the entrance of a house and thinking of somebody tripping and falling every single time they just step in. And so,
Yeah. I think we ended up putting a lot of Lego pieces around the pool table. And so like you're just playing pool and just like, oh shit.
whenever it comes to people just tripping and falling over like something easy not to notice, I am a toddler. Like, I am that easy to laugh.
It's a good joke.
Yeah. Um, anyway, so do you have anything more on that, or do I move on to the next topic?
No. Yeah, like I said, just go listen to the comic book tour guide. I think the next episode, oh God, what was the next episode about? It was about the my co-host's favorite Elseworld comics from DC, which was Batman and Superman Generations. So if you don't know anything about that one, it's a great book. Go listen to the podcast. It's great.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I don't know anything about like deeper Elseworld stuff in DC, and so I'm probably gonna give that a look as well. Because like in terms of DC, I'm mostly familiar with mainline, like basic, Bruce Wayne, Batman, Clark Kent, Superman, etc. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I do want to get this out of the way though, as a baby topic, just because I don't have much to say on it, but I'm so excited about it, and I told you a little bit about it before. But I don't know if this was just obvious to most other people, and this is likely a thing you're not going to care about for more than 10 minutes. But uh, uh, I don't know how common this is, but get a new launcher for your phone and see if it just immediately makes it much faster. I at first, like with the stock launcher on my, I have a OnePlus 7, that was previously another family member's, um, and I have been using the stock launcher for a while, and it wasn't like a crawl, but it was like just all right in terms of how smooth it was. When I upgraded to the Nova launcher, which they're not paying us to say anything, this is just my opinion on it.
Nova
The
Launcher
only
is the
reason
best Android launcher for
the
sure.
the only reason that I
Incorrect.
even thought about using a new launcher is because I realized because there was like I was putting my phone in a stand and I'm like, oh, this would look better if it was horizontal. I realized there's no way to get the stock OnePlus launcher to go into landscape mode. There is absolutely no way to do that. And so once I switched to the Nova one, now it just like it looks just as seamless when I turn it to the side, and that was the whole reason for it anyway. And also, it the speed of it feels like the base launcher on fucking Coke. It feels like I have absolutely nothing on my phone with how fast it is. And
Yeah.
yeah, so if yours just feels a little squeaky around the edges or really squeaky around the edges, depending, then yeah, try a new launcher. It might just be that they can get you over that cliff because it just feels so bright and shiny and newer. And it's also frankly more customizable because that's just what Nova is. Do you have a lot of experience with launchers?
Yeah, I mean, I used Nova Launcher the entire time I was using Android. I would like dip my toes into other launchers, and every now and then when I had Samsung, I would go back to the regular Samsung launcher, but it always came back to Nova. Um, the customization with it, the ease of use of it is unmatched by any other launcher.
I
Unless you have a very specific use case for your phone, other launchers might be better for you, but for the average person, Nova Launcher is probably what you should use.
Yeah, I remember that like for the widgets because I like using widgets because they're pretty and they're gimmicky. Um, for the widgets, I was able to fit like one or two more in there, which I you know, of course, don't overcrowd your phone. But like I realized you can resize it more than you can with the base versions, and some of them clearly look like they weren't supposed to be resized that small if you get them too small. But you can resize them most things much smaller than you can on a base launcher, and you can literally adjust every single thing, and the search bar at the bottom, which it's at the bottom by default, which I like. It can be at the top if you want it. You can set it to like search either the Play Store or the internet or your file system or your apps, depending on whatever it is. Like you can have different search results for it instead of having to go into the drawer for that. And even that, depending on your phone, might not be fully functioning. It's just like if there's any little if there's any little quality of life stuff that you're used to on PC that you technically that you just technically couldn't do on your phone, but you know that you could do if someone programmed it in, it's probably in the Nova launcher, and it's really cool. Um, so there's that. My much bigger topic though is still tech related, but completely unrelated to that. I was going to talk about it last week. Um, I know we're in Banter right now, and Banter is a wonderful place. It's got a lot of cool stuff. It's got great events. Look at the calendar. It is beautiful. There's lots of different UI of people to talk to, and you're looking at other social platforms that you want to look at. I've given a little bit of a rundown of stuff like Rec Room and VR Chat and Horizon Worlds in the past. But something that I think is almost more important is uh, basically I want to give a guide on how to without directly knowing somebody who's overly familiar with VR chat, how to go in there and make your way, and have a good time, even if you don't have anything specifically that you want to do. Because I think there's a lot of people who like hear, oh, VR chat is the big place to go. That's with the more people and the more stuff because it's been around for longer. It's technically capable of more, as far as I know. I'm not a dev. I just know that there's more done with it. Um, and but like a lot of people are intimidated by it because there's such a learning curve. And so I wanted to give like a small little tutorial on like from just getting in and like getting your basic bearings with the settings all the way to you're having a casual good time with new people. Maybe a couple crazy people around because it's the internet, but you get it. Um, Ashley, do you have anything to say about VR chat before I start?
I don't use it. I feel like everybody here probably knows everything already anyway.
Well, yeah, because like anytime that I've approached somebody in banter, and I'm like, oh yeah, I go to like VR chat for this or banter for that, and like and they go, oh yeah, VR chat, like I don't wanna get into that whole crazy thing. And so here's how you make it not a crazy thing as much. Firstly, especially if you're on a Quest headset, and this is also for like anybody who's just watching the video version who doesn't doesn't see it in banter. Sorry. Um, Go into your settings and go to avatar culling in your avatar settings, you can set it to a limit for how many avatars you can display at once. That's almost more important than your safety settings for what kind of avatars you can display. That's a whole thing you can get into by yourself. It's very intuitive, that part. But for culling specifically, you can either limit it by the number of avatars you display, the distance from you of the avatars you display, or both. So like in total, you only display this many, and they have to be within a certain range of you. You know, and from there, now you're pretty much ready to go into almost any world, at least that doesn't have a crasher in it. And here's how to not go into a crashing world. Because a lot of people might direct you into the Great Pug or the Black Cat, but like also that's where most like trolls go into because that's the most big name places. I've often found places like the Sunset Bar and oh god, there's another bar one. People in there will know what you're talking about if you ask around for it. But like I've noticed that bar spaces tend to bore trolls really fast. But they act as just like a place to chill, sort of Star Wars cantina style. And so if you like, and then as you walk around, you might find other people like putting on music events or open mic events or comedy or whatever it is that you're looking for. I have a few improv workshop buddies that like, sometimes lollygag around in those places. And in a lot of these bars, you can do like there's like a functioning like alcohol included like role play sort of thing because they have like it's a sort of a video gamey like they hand you a glass with some colorful liquid in it, and if you don't switch this off, you can switch off the drunk effects, but you can hold the trigger to like consume the alcohol, and then like you have some visual and audio distortions, and it's kind of fun. Or you can turn that off and you're just drinking something. But yeah, you can meet
Rejoice
all
while the
manner of people
robot
there, and the
overlord
people who
ghost
spend the
train has
most
entered
time in,
space.
at very least, the Sunset Bar, are mostly just the chill people that you would be wading through the trolls to find in other places. And usually they'll have somewhere that you can explore anyway. And so, yeah, that's how you make your way into at least a nice entry level, not super crazy experience with VR chat, both for people who are new to their headset and people who've been in a while who just like who are too intimidated by the whole broadth of it and how complicated the menus are and everything. So learn how to search for a world and search for the Sunset Bar, and that's a good first stop. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
Ashley,
don't do
yeah.
VR chat, so I have
Hmm.
not much to say about VR chat at all.
Okay. I mean that was my big thing. That was my last thing. Yeah. I
Good.
mean, like,
Um,
is there something that keeps you out of VR chat? I'm curious.
I just don't use VR very much. VR chat. I'm also just like, oh, I don't want to go into a space with just a bunch of random people. I'm not that kind of
Oh, okay.
person.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
just not the area for me.
Okay. I mean, I assume that I mean, you could make use of groups if you wanted to. I get that'd still be a crowd full of people that you don't already know, and so I can kind of see why
Yeah,
you wouldn't be interested in that. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to see you in
yeah.
there at some point, but maybe it's not your flavor.
Not usually. I was like once a month. I'll jump in to look at the worlds that I like if they've updated, and then I jump off.
Hmm. Yeah, I just like meeting new folks, and I just like getting into new adventures in there whenever I find it. Yeah, yeah, that's all from me, but at least for the stuff
I,
I brought to the table.
well, I bought Gamer Sups for the first time because they actually had a fucking cup to buy that I wouldn't have to wait like 3 months to get. So that's always annoying.
Wait, you got a
Um,
special kind of
mhm.
cup for it? I knew you got like a gamer fuel thing,
I
but
I sent you the picture. It has like a baseball anime lady on it.
oh, right, I forgot about that. Yeah,
For anyone that
sorry,
doesn't
I
know, Gamer
blocked the
Subs
anime.
is a like energy drink mix. They also sell cups every now and then. Most of the time, extremely horny. This one, not very. It's just a lady playing baseball. Um, but when you buy the cup, you get a bunch of their sampler mixes because I wasn't originally going to buy a mix. I just liked the cup. Um, and the one that stuck with me that I hate stuck with me because of its name is Guacamole Gamer Fart 9000, which tastes a lot like a lime kind of drink. Um, Very good. Highly recommend. It is very tasty.
I can't stand that fucking name still. It's so gross. It's I can taste it now, that name, and I'm not a fan. Yeah, I like lime flavored things, but I just like I don't know if I told you about this part when we talked about it in private, but when I was a kid, and we were getting like cute stuff for Halloween, like just little like I think I was putting together a lunch, and my parents got these juice boxes that did it say toad broth on it or like something swamp, and my brain just could not switch off the association of that really has toad broth in there or whatever it said, and I was absolutely repulsed by it even though everybody insisted it was just a nice fruity juice. My brain just rejected every part of it. I gagged when it got close to my mouth. And so I don't know if the same thing would happen now, but yeah.
Apparently, in 2 days, they're getting a new flavor in collaboration with Meat Canyon,
Oh,
the animation channel. So we'll see what that one's going to be. Guacamole Gamer Farts is a collaboration with the Russian Badger. Um, if anyone knows them, I watched their stuff a long time ago, and apparently they have a really good flavor.
like I
There's
mean,
also flavors like Anime Girl Thigh, Blowhole Blast, Brand Risk, Grandpa's Ashes.
I
So
am not the
they
target
have
demographic.
Lean.
Uh, I'm just s-
They got
this is
titty milk. Hell yeah.
this is this is the gamer brand for people who like that Smiling Friends show. I respect it. Uh, I I respect it, and that's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, I like Guacamole Gamer Fart, and they had one that tasted like peach. They had oh god, what was it? They gave me a one that's pineapple, and I did not like pineapple at all. I just don't like pineapple flavor in general. They also had
It's so
mango. That's
wild
the
to me.
other one. The mango one was really good.
I can
Those
see
are
why
all
you
named
like.
normally though.
I I think it's weird that those were named normally, but I digress. I think it's weird that you like mango but not pineapple, because like pineapple's
Pineapple
just
is
like
no.
the sweeter vibe, like counterpart to mango, at least in artificial flavoring.
Yeah, very not into pineapple. Mango was okay. I'm not typically into mango, but this one's good. And I mean,
I
even the
love good
pineapple
pineapple.
wasn't that bad. I did try a sip of it. Don't like it still, but it's not as bad as most pineapple things are.
Yeah, I have a question about the cup. I'm sorry. Cuz I know there's a lot of like horny anime merch that is just like displayed out in like conventions and shit. I want to know for a travel mug cuz I'm pretty wasn't that like a to go mug, like a travel mug
Yeah, I mean, you
sort of
would take it with you.
like how many
I,
places are you going to take that? like uh like if
yeah,
it's
there's a reason I only bought the one that isn't just big tits.
like what is the forethought in purchasing that? This is such a genuine question. I'm like, if anybody know, I I don't know if you want to out yourself as having one, anybody in this room, but if anyone wants to raise their hand who's purchased something like that and takes it anywhere out of their house, I'm so curious about that. I can see someone just keeping it in their car, but that's not really to go at that point. Well, I
Yeah, you
guess
would
it
lose
is, but
a lot of the chill from it if you want it cold anyway. I guess if you want it warm like a freak or something, but
it just why? Oh, right, you don't like warm liquids, right?
I'm not a big fan of warm drinks.
Hot cocoa in the winter? I feel like we've been
Hot
over this.
cocoa's okay. It's I still that's only if it's ridiculously cold and my throat's ridiculously dry.
I feel like you just haven't had like a good hot cocoa, like a slightly creamy one.
See, everyone also says that to me about coffee, and I have. And I still like it. Not a big fan.
So 'cause I'm trying to think of like what the because I feel like the hot cocoa flavor profile and the coffee flavor profile are relatively close to one another, especially because you'll often put like like one in the other to accent it in like a recipe or something. And but I'm thinking of one that doesn't match that profile that I would still like warm. Because if I'm having like I wouldn't want like a hot fruity drink. I I I know hot Kool-Aid has been a thing a few times in human history, but I'm so not keen
It
on
shouldn't be.
trying.
Oh my god, no. That
I
sounds
have a few
horrible.
times tried like a bright and sweet, slightly sour, fruity tasting tea, but it really felt like it wasn't supposed to be hot, even though I knew it was. I don't think fruity drinks are meant to be warmed up. I don't think most fruity tasting things are supposed to be hot. Even like a hot dessert that has like a pungent fruity smell. I mean fruity taste. Like
I
a
mean, I just
hot
don't think
orange
any
thing.
drink is really good warm, so I'm definitely on board with
Do you-
things should not be warm.
No, I'm no, okay. So now I'm curious. Do you think there's any like fruity tasting food that's okay, like hot, like steaming hot?
I mean, not when it's like the main component. No.
Hmm.
It's
Wait,
very
you're
strong. I
Southern and
mean,
you don't. That means you don't like a sweet apple pie piping hot.
I do not care for pies.
I
What
am
about that
very
there peach
curious.
cobbler?
Then,
You gotta like that
are you the
peach
kind of
cobbler,
person who
right?
would like have the same meal every day and be totally okay with it?
Not every day. We're like
Okay.
a rotating mix of like 7 different meals.
Mm-hmm.
Be pretty good with that. I'm not too
Mm-hmm.
picky, and it's just like I like these like few things, and I don't need a lot of variety. So it's like, why?
I guess if yeah, if you just found where you like to sit, then you just
Like
sit there, I
every
guess.
now and then, I want a different taste, but otherwise, it's like I don't. The things that I like are really easy to make, so why would I go and make something really difficult or more difficult when I could just make
Yeah,
the easy thing?
the way that I tend to think of food is like if there's a new
If it's
thing
not
to
burnt, you
try,
don't want it.
shut the fuck up. But if, I listen, I like technically more food than you do because I can take the burn. But yeah, um, I I like to try like if a new thing is available just right there for me to take, then I will go for that thing first. But I'll always know I know what home base to come back to of the foods that I do like if I am repulsed by whatever it is I'm about to eat. And so You know, I probably have like under 10 meals that I excuse me, that I could put on just as like a palate cleanser if I don't like the new thing that I tried. But I will usually go for the new thing first. I like novelty.
Yeah, I've typically found that new foods for me don't normally win. They don't win for me when it's just
Hmm.
like, oh, I could have just made like a really delicious burger
Don't reinvent
instead
the
of whatever
wheel.
the fuck I
Yeah.
just had. Yeah,
The I like that you introduced me to smash burgers. Like, cause
yeah,
I used to think that must be hot garbage, and now I'm like I would probably see it as about equal to a little lower than a big fat chunky one, but like
yeah. I mean, you
I
can still be wrong, but I'm glad your
it's like
opinion's slightly better
so
than it was
so
before.
so wait. So in your opinion, should a smash burger be like thicker than a piece of beef jerky?
Smash burgers should be as thin as you could make them realistically.
If you could get a smash burger to be with the potato chip, would you do that?
You would need a lot of them to make them a meal out of them, but I think that would be fucking delicious.
I guess it would just be my art at that point, wouldn't it? Like you would really
Yeah,
have no
it would be
tenderness left
so
in it.
fucking good.
I get that makes me, I know this isn't true, but that makes me feel like you don't like steak because it seems like you're trying to eliminate the tender part.
No, I mean the steak is a different food, so it tastes different, it feels different. That's good. Steak's great. But I don't want steak in between my buns, you know. I want a burger in between my buns.
Do you like okay, so do you like meatloaf, ground beef made into a mass?
If it's made right, which is very difficult, there's only a couple times I genuinely like meatloaf, and mainly it's a textural thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I guess it's like meat as is separate from ground beef. Wait, is ground chicken a thing that's done a lot? Because I know there's like, no,
Yeah.
what's the
I
thing?
mean, I don't, but I know it's a thing.
There's a thing related to chicken that's like, oh my God, what am I
Eggs.
thinking of?
Turkey?
Wait, what?
Turkey? Ground turkey?
No, no. It's a chicken thing, but it's like okay, it is to chicken what sorbet is to like or a smoothie is to like fruit.
What the
Oh
fuck are you
God, I'm
talking about?
trying to think. I'm probably way off, but there's like a meat thing, and I'm pretty sure it's chicken, and it's like closer to like undercooked, and it's like ground up in a certain way, and it's like technically dangerous, but not really. I what am I thinking of? I'm gonna be way off, but like I have a specific thing in my mind.
I have no fucking clue.
Like
Yeah,
it's like
Smash
a
Burgers is
almost
the only good burger.
okay. So if someone like handed you a big fat burger, like you wouldn't enjoy it?
If it's free, I'll eat it. Yeah, I probably wouldn't pay a lot for it if they wanted me to pay, but
It's just
I would
it's still it's
rather a smash burger every time.
what if you had like a smash burger like what if you had like a smash burger like as a unit, but like it had like a layering of like seven smash burgers in there, so it was as fat as a fat burger, but it was still just smash burgers.
Well, that's what you should do. If you want more meat, make multiple patties of smash burgers. It will taste better every time. And you know what's great about having multiple layers of a burger? You can put different things in between the different layers.
It's true. I can have a heart attack by putting cheese in between every single one. What if you just did it with butter? Oh, onions.
See, my favorite is a garlic smash burger where you put like the garlic butter in the middle and then on top of the bun, and you sprinkle salt on top of the bun as well.
Now, do you use salted butter or do you use unsalted butter and then just like compensate after the
I
fact?
buy the one at the store that says garlic butter. I
Oh,
am not picky about which butters I'm using.
because
It is not a
I know
healthy meal anyway. I'm not counting the salt contents.
Well, because like I know people who are insistent on making it easier for themselves and just like getting the salt out of the way in the butter itself, and then there's people who are absolutely dead set on it has to be unsalted butter because I want to control the amount of salt to my taste. Yeah.
I don't care about the amount nearly as much as I want salt added on to the top bun because it gives a texture.
Hmm.
It's not just immediately soaking into the butter, it's kind of sitting on top of it. And so you can
Would you,
feel the salt granules when you eat.
texturally, would you replace it with breadcrumbs given the chance, like panko maybe?
Well, no, mainly because salt tastes better than breadcrumbs.
I mean, if you want like maybe a subtler flavor profile, while you got just like layer after layer of
Well,
fun shit
a
below.
subtle flavor profile on my burger stuffed with garlic butter.
Well, I'm saying no. I'm saying to kind of like so. Let's say you have like all these bright colors on like a in a painting or on a wall, and like you have them backed by like a gray or black background, so that like the subtlety of what's around it accentuates the power from within. You know, and
No,
so
salt's
the
fucking
bread.
good.
Yeah, salt's fucking good. We just
Salt's fucking good. Y'all,
have a salt
salt
sandwich,
fucks.
folks. Just put a salt lick, like the thing for horses, in between two burger buns, and then you got a meal in front of you. That God, you would mummify yourself. Good.
Yeah, I have
Well,
very strong opinions on burgers. I think thick burgers are for the weak and cowardly.
I say this.
Smash
Then
burgers
I
all the
say this.
way.
I say the same thing then about burgers that I do about alcohol, and I say if it's a bitch drink, bitch me up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I actually need
I'm
to
okay.
start like I bought two jars of butterscotch moonshine that I need to work through.
Who was it that I got the bitch me up thing from? I know it was a stand up thing from somebody. What was the alcohol that you mentioned? I was just like focused on what name I was trying to pull out of
Butterscotch
the hat.
moonshine
Butterscotch
from
moonshine.
Sugarland Shine,
Butterscotch
and
moonshine.
I bought
You
multiple
don't know
jars of it because
nothing.
my liquor store didn't have it for a while, and I'm like, I am not going without ever
They were
again.
out of it,
It's
and you're
so
just like, I
fucking
am not
good.
leaving this building without butterscotch moonshine in my hand.
I'm not leaving this building without a diagnosis for alcoholism.
We have to call the police, Ashley Abstract.
See, I actually need to go back and get like a vodka or something to mix with it because it's not a very strong moonshine. So I have to drink
Oh,
a lot of it to actually feel anything.
I would assume that like a moonshine is like the last resort for alcohol content. Like that's the ceiling or near it anyway.
No, that'd be white lightning.
Yeah, no, this is only
I
20% alcohol by volume, not very
What is
much.
white lightning?
That's barely
For the
even.
layman in the
That's
room.
that's not even moonshine. Come on now.
Literally. That's why I'm so upset by it. It tastes fucking delicious though.
Just put butterscotch and absinthe in a bathtub and then you're good.
Don't tempt me.
Wait, okay, legit question, and not encouraging this if it's not legal in your region. This is a purely educational question. But if you were to make bathtub moonshine, then with the like would the material of the bathtub seep into the recipe?
If you didn't clean it.
Um, I think you could make moonshine in your bathtub.
Well, I okay, if you don't clean it, then you'll get the dirt from the bathtub in it. But I'm talking about the actual
Yeah,
like whatever your bathtub is made of. Yeah.
probably. I'm not sure of the
Yeah.
erosion of bathtub material, but
This is why you have to go to the Royal Palace. You have to get a solid metal bathtub, and
see,
that's where you make your butterscotch moonshine.
this is why microplastics are such a bad issue. It's all of the moonshine we're making in bathtubs.
Think of the moonshine. Like, but no, now I want to think of just somebody throwing straight absinthe into a bathtub and then just dumping a truckload of Werther's originals in there just to see what fucking happens.
I was very tempted when I couldn't get my hands on butterscotch moonshine to just like literally get flavorless like alcohol with a high content and just put butterscotch candies in there because
Like
I wanted it so
how
bad. It tastes so fucking good.
it okay, this feels like the last time I heard like a Harry Potter fan go off about like butterbeer, and now I'm thinking it's probably not that different from the same taste because I remember it tastes like butterscotch, just about, and there is an alcoholic version, though I think they just put like what Fireball in there. If I remember correctly.
I don't like Fireball. Not a favorite.
I don't think I've ever had Fireball, but I have had what's the Screwball. Screwball is I look like I'm checking the ceiling. No, Screwball, the peanut butter vodka. I like that stuff. Tastes like a Reese's cup.
Yeah, my girlfriend. I don't remember what the base of it is, but it's a peanut butter something alcohol, and she's loving it. I say I don't remember. I literally have the bottle on the other side of the room, but I'm not checking that shit.
If it's like a trendy peanut butter like alcoholic beverage, it's probably Screwball.
No, it's not. It's not that.
Oh, okay.
It's like an actual like local maker.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, wonderful. Support local. Yeah. That's I sorry. I just realized nobody would know that reference unless they live in Canada. That's a that's the spokesperson for Smokes Poutineery. That's his catchphrase, and I just like remembered seeing his Instagram a while ago.
You say your spokesperson smokes poutine?
No, the smokes the
The spokesperson of Spokes Poutine?
the spokesperson of Spokes Poutineery. He like his whole thing is like every single. I think it's like an every single Instagram reel he puts out, or on whatever platform he puts it on. It's probably TikToks at this point. But yeah, he goes around to like local places and he just shouts at the camera like support local in like the most Canadian accent you've ever heard.
That sounds good. Do you
Yeah,
think he
I
actually
mean,
supports local?
he does keep buying things from these businesses to like do these videos at least. And so to at least that extent, yeah. I don't know if he's just I don't know if he's just down in poutine on the daily and just running 40 miles to burn it off, but
Poutine is
yeah.
still such a like I would never kind of meal.
I might be the only autistic person on earth that genuinely likes poutine because it is a textural nightmare for like for someone who would be sensitive to that sort of thing, especially temperatures. Because if it's not hot, it's not as good. It would feel gross, but it needs to be like perhaps uncomfortably hot for that. But also, I've had a cold poutine before. I know a lot of people would consider it disgusting. I really like it still. I've had an overnight refrigerated poutine. Was not the best shape it's ever been in. Some of that gravy coagulated, and I'm fine with that. It's good.
This is why I don't value your food opinions.
I know what good is. I just also think that bad is
Do you?
sometimes good.
I
I
think your
I
definition of good is slanted.
I will identify good things as good, but my good is just broader than your good.
You know what?
You're
We're not
pickier.
gonna have
That's the
this
only
argument
difference
again.
between us, Ashley.
No, no, I'm intelligent.
We're not so different, you and I.
Very different. You like thick burgers more than smash burgers.
Yeah.
We're in different worlds.
And I'm the pescatarian here, and I can identify that I like a fatter burger.
Yeah, you're the pescatarian. You don't even eat the fucking things.
I have
You
eaten
don't
them.
know
Let's
what a
go.
good burger is.
I have had plenty of burgers in my life. I had a big, fat, juicy one. Get that down my gullet. I know that one place
I'm
that
gonna
makes
take that clip out of context of big fat juicy one, get it down your gullet. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember if anyone's ever been to the Dublin area, because I went to Ireland exactly once. There's a restaurant there that I hope is still around called Captain America's. It's like mimicking American food. They will likely get your order wrong, but they make a really good big fat burger. Like it's essentially it's essentially a burger-sized beef nugget that they put in there. It is as if it's not supposed to go between two pieces of bread. That is the kind of shape that it is, but it's still so good.
I don't approve.
I would I would eat a smash burger the same way that I would have like a stroopwafel or something. Just like I would want it to be in like an Oreo style tin and just kind of just kind of have it without the bread around it or toppings because it feels
No,
like
you
it'd
can
be like
have like
chips.
a multi-layered smash burger the size of a fat burger, and now you get all of the benefits of smash burgers.
And but like you wouldn't get like that. So what you wouldn't get is the portion of it that isn't Maillarded and is more tender. You wouldn't get as much of that. You would get more Maillard.
Yeah, the good part.
Well, there's two good parts. There's the tender part, and there's
If you
the
want tender,
harder
go get a
Maillard
fucking
part.
steak.
Well, what if you want to kill two birds with one stone in one sandwich?
No, because no, you're enjoying them for different reasons.
Well, what if you just want to save time? You're like, I could really use both of these. I'm gonna get it in one thing.
Also, to cook well a thick burger, you're not really getting true Maillard reactions
That's fair. But when you said
because you're getting
doing
like burnt at that point because you have to cook it for so much longer.
when you said doing the multiple layers of a smash burger inside inside a tin, because I was still thinking of the Oreo tin idea, and having that like the whole burger inside there made me think of those gummy like kids, those like Halloween gummies. I never saw them passed around any other way, but like where it'd be a little tray with like a gummy burger in it with all the ingredients. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like it'd be that, but for an actual burger in a full size tray. That'd be fun. I was gonna sit. I was gonna stare at you guys after that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to talk about, Ashley? I just ran myself over the
Hope
edge
you
of a
get
cliff.
some better taste, but I think that is the end of our show.
Yes, exactly. Do you want to plug the comic book thing again and whatever you like?
Yes, so I have a comic book podcast for anyone who wasn't here earlier. Episode one just came out. You can find it at my website, missus ashley.gay. Um, this tonight, in just a few hours, I am interviewing a comic book writer who's worked with Marvel and is now publishing or is now writing a Space Ghost comic. If you have any questions you would want to be asked to a person like that, get into the Discord on my website or go to my Twitter or whatever and leave the questions for us, and we'll get to them during the interview. But that cutoff is like literally in a couple hours. Um, Other than that, everything else is on that same website. Find me elsewhere on the internet.
Yeah. And I am Mystery Steve pretty much anywhere you can find. On Instagram, you just add .toons, TOONS on the end of that. And if you want to see any of the improv shows that I do with buddies, you can find all the links for those at improvvr.co.uk. That's improv, then an r.co.uk. So have a lovely time.
Bye bye.
Hey, and thanks, Luna.